What's happening, everybody? We've been getting a lot of questions about the SXS skid plates. Fairly easy to mount. We're going to show you how to do that today. First thing you want to do is get all your stuff ready. What we're going to need for this is an 8 and a 10 millimeter socket. We're going to need a 5 millimeter Allen head. I always like to put Loctite on everything, make sure it's good and secure, not going to come off on you on the trail. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, first thing we're going to want to do is prepare the bike so that we can get this little exhaust mount tab through here. You can see right here we've got your swingle mitt, as KTM and Husqvarna call it, mounting your exhaust to the frame. This is going to mount to the skid plate, and we need to have some clearance. We're going to take those bolts out first. So grab your 8 millimeter, get these loose. Alright, now we have room to get the skid plate through there. Okay. Alright guys, now we're going to prepare our bolts for the front mounting bar. I put a little bit of Loctite on these. You don't need a ton, just a little bit of blue right there on both of these. It's going to prevent the vibration from the two-stroke motor from causing those bolts to back out and making you lose your skid plate on the trail. As you can see, this bar here is going to mount up in the frame right there and give you a spot to mount your skid plate to. Once that's clamped down, it's going to be nice and solid, and it's going to hold everything in place. Okay.
A lot of background people in your video today. That's just cool. You get it going?
Yep.
See that? First try. Bam.
Alright guys, so you can see we've got the thread started. Everything's a little loose, so we can move it around here. You can see this cable here for your gear position sensor. What you're going to want to do is make sure that this clears that zip tie and also does not pinch this cable. If you pinch that cable, you can cause some problems on your bike. So we're going to slide that up into place and go ahead and get ready to do the other stuff. And you can see we're clear of that cable now. Alright guys, now we're going to prepare the bolts again, just like the front ones, with a little bit of blue Loctite for the rear hook mount. Again, it doesn't take a lot of Loctite, just a little bit there. That'll secure everything into place. And then this rear hook is what's going to grab onto the frame. So if you can see that in the video there. And the tricky part here is you kind of have to balance this hook on the frame while you're pulling the bolts up through the bottom of the skid plate into there. So that's the thing that a lot of people get hung up on, but we'll try and get that going here today. Alright guys, we got one bolt started. I've just got a couple threads going. Now I'm going to get the other bolt up in here. If you come in here and look, you can see through this bolt hole here that you can see the threads up in there, so you know when you stick your bolt through there, you're going to be able to actually get some threads. There we go. Now I'm going to leave that loose, and then we're going to mount up this swingle mitt here. Alright guys, went ahead and prepared our bolt for the swingle mitt, or exhaust mount. The skid plate came with this nice little machined aluminum washer. It's going to go right here through the skid plate. That's going to give it a good spot for the bolt to go through without wearing a hole through that. So we're going to grab our exhaust mount. I'm going to line it up back behind here. Sometimes you got to kind of wiggle it in there just a little bit. Get it lined up, and then we're going to run the bolt through and just kind of get it loosely mounted so that it stays in place. Okay, good stuff. Alright guys, you can see I got that loosely mounted. The swingle mitt or exhaust mount can still move a little bit. Everything on the skid plate is just a little bit loose. The way we can go in and do a final check of everything and snug it all down. Right now, what I'm going to do is grab one of the original bolts for the exhaust. Didn't come with any Loctite on it, but I am going to put just a touch of blue on there. Just make sure it doesn't come loose in the future. Line up your exhaust mount, stick your bolt through, just get it loose. So everything's loose. We can do a final inspection, make sure everything's good to go. Okay, reset. All right, so now we got these snug down here. Just like that. And then we can move to the back and go ahead and mount up the rear bottoms mount. Alright guys, now we're going to go ahead and snug up this rear section here. That's going to pull everything nice and tight and keep the skid plate in place, aligned with that rear frame rail. You see I'm alternating between the two different bolts, because as I snug one up, the other one becomes loose. So I'm just going to get it nice and even. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and do the final snug on these guys and we'll be all set. Perfect. That's how you mount it. Alright guys, here's the main features of the skid plate that make the SXS so good. First thing is this cover mount, or cover guard here for the water pump, right there. Then we have the linkage guard integrated into the skid plate, right there. And lastly, if you look underneath, everything is very nice and smooth. So it just glides over rocks, obstructions, anything like that. Nothing to get hung up, can't damage your linkage, all that good stuff. So that's one of the main features of the SXS skid plate.